Burnout isn't a badge of honor, it's the warning. Tax season doesn't have to break you. Reverse it. This is where you come back to life. This tax season. Join us.
Thank you for continuing this journey with me. I'm reading you my book, Reverse Thinking Required. It's my story, and I want to share it with you because honestly, I would prefer you not have to go where I did to finally put myself first. So if you're just stumbling across this video, then check the body and go to the series. What I'm trying to do here is put together a way for you to see that all you've got to do is reverse your thinking as it relates to your priorities, because it's you. So I'm getting ready to read you chapter 12. Now, it's labeled one thing, but I'm going to tell you this is for any business owner. Now, this is actually labeled Surviving Tax Season Without Losing Your Mind, but I want you to hear it, small business owners, moms, dads, overloaded. All of us have a tax season. All of us have a crazy time that we are busy in our lives. I'll never forget one particular March years ago. I was in the office before sunrise, still there at midnight, and living off cold coffee and whatever snacks I could grab between client calls. My phone was blowing up with texts. My inbox had hundreds of unread emails, and I couldn't remember the last time I sat down for dinner with my family. At the time, I wore that chaos like a badge of honor. That's just tax season, I told myself. But the truth was, I was returning and running on fumes. My body was breaking down, my patience was gone, and my family was paying the price. Looking back, I realized it wasn't tax season that was the problem, it was me. I had no boundaries, no systems, and no plan to protect my health. I thought I could just grind harder and make it through. What I've learned since is that surviving tax season isn't about being tougher. It's about being smarter. If you've been through even one busy season, crazy time, anything can be busy season. You know the pressure is real. The deadlines don't move. Clients wait until the last minute. And there's always more work than hours in the day. But the real reason tax season breaks so many firms is because too many clients are crammed into too little time. Instead of curating their client list, firm owners try to be everything to everyone. Boundaries disappear. Clients call at 9 p.m., texts fly in on weekends, and you respond because you feel like you have to. Systems aren't built for the strain. Manual processes, scattered documents, and bottlenecks pile up fast. The martyr mindset takes over. Too many practitioners convince themselves that suffering is a sign of success. That if you're not half dead by April, you must not be working hard enough. If tax season leaves you broken, it's not sustainable. You can't serve your clients well or live your life well if you're barely hanging on. Somewhere along the way, our profession started treating burnout as a badge of honor. We swap stories about all-nighters, brag about missed vacations, and joke about sleeping under our desks like it was a rite of passage. But the truth is, clients don't care how many hours you worked. They care about whether the work is accurate, whether the deadlines are met, and whether you still are around next year to serve them. And make no mistake, burnout has a price. Mistakes creep in. Staff get fed up and leave. Clients sense the chaos and start looking for alternatives. And your body keeps the score too. Stress-related health crises are no joke, I know. And once the damage is done, you can't always undo it. But it doesn't have to be that way. Imagine a tax season where your clients know the process, your team is equipped to carry the load, and your systems handle the repetitive tasks. You're still busy, but you're not drowning. You actually make it home for dinner and you're not running on empty. And you still have gas in the tank come April. That's not fantasy. It's what happens when you approach tax season with intention instead of just endurance. The goal isn't just to make it through. It's to design a tax season that doesn't chew you up and spit you out every year. I remember one year that I started implementing these changes. Better communication, more automation, tighter boundaries. For the first time, tax season felt manageable. Clients were happier because they knew what to expect. My staff was more confident, and I actually had enough energy left in April to celebrate with my family instead of collapsing. That's when I realized tax season doesn't have to be a nightmare. With the right preparation, it can be just another season of steady, profitable work. Most tax pros treat busy season like a storm they just have to outlast. Head down, push harder, and hope you make it to April 15th or whatever your local deadline is without collapsing. That mindset might get you through 1 year, maybe 2, but it's not a business model. The real opportunity is to treat tax season as a stress test for your firm. Whatever breaks under the pressure is showing you where your practice needs attention. Did you get buried in client questions? That's a communications problem. Did your staff burn out? That's a training and delegation gap. Do you miss family dinners for 3 months straight? That's a boundary issue. Once you see tax season this way, it stops being something you merely survive and it becomes the blueprint for how to improve your business year-round. Here's how to make the shift. Debrief when the dust settles. Don't just celebrate surviving. Sit down with your team and ask what worked, what didn't, what bottlenecks showed up. Write it down before the memory fades. Fix one bottleneck per year. You don't need to rebuild everything at once. Maybe this year you add a client portal. Next year you streamline onboarding. Small improvements compound into big change. Track your hours and stress points. Keep a simple log during the season. Where did your time actually go? Where did your energy drain the most? That data is gold for redesigning your workflow. Test boundaries in real time. If you enforced stricter deadlines or stopped taking last-minute files, notice how clients reacted. Most will adapt faster than you think, and the few who don't may not be your clients long-term anyway. Celebrate wins with your team. Did someone handle client communication beautifully? Did automation save hours? Did you make it home for family dinner once a week when last year you didn't? Those wins matter. Name them. The more intentional you get, the more tax season stops being a mad dash and starts being a predictable, profitable season of work. I'll be honest, there will always be long days and moments of stress, but there's a big difference between working hard by choice and being ground down by chaos. The bottom line, tax season doesn't have to break you. It can sharpen you, strengthen your team, and push your firm to become better every year. And when you get to that point, tax season stops being something you dread and becomes proof that your practice is truly built to last. Signs you're headed for burnout this tax season. You don't just wake up one day in April completely burned out. The warning signs usually show up weeks or even months before the deadline hits. The problem is most of us are so focused on plowing ahead that we ignore them instead until it's too late. If you want this year to feel different, you've got to start paying attention to the early red flags. Here are a few that signal you're on a collision course with burnout. Number one, you're always dreading February, and you're already dreading February. If just thinking about tax season fills you with anxiety, that's a warning sign. Number two, you haven't set client expectations clearly. If clients don't know your deadlines, office hours, or process, expect chaos. Number three, you're counting on just grinding harder. More hours isn't strategy. It's a path to burnout. Number four, your health takes a back seat every spring. If sleep, exercise, and family time disappear during tax season, you're robbing from yourself. Number five, you keep saying yes to late and misfit clients. Carrying problem clients into busy season is like carrying over rocks into a marathon. You'll feel every ounce. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, don't just brush them off. They're not just inconveniences, they're warnings. Ignoring them now only guarantees that tax season will just be a heavier toll on you, your team, and your clients. The good news is that these red flags weren't a death sentence for your practice. They're simply signals pointing to where you need to make changes. And the earlier you act, the smoother your season will be. Let's look at practical steps you can take to turn things around. Action steps. Survive and thrive during tax season. Recognizing the signs, recognizing the warning signs is one thing. Changing your approach is another. Tax season doesn't have to feel like a sprint through fire every year. With some intentional preparation and a few smart shifts is how you work, and you can reduce the chaos, protect your health, and even find moments of calm in the middle of your rush. These action steps aren't just about adding more to your plate. They're about redesigning the way you carry the load so you can get through the season without losing your mind. You can't eliminate the deadlines, but you can control how you prepare for and navigate them. Here's how. Number one, front load communication. Tax season chaos multiplies when clients don't know what's expected. Send reminders early, explain your deadline, and be clear about what you need from them and when. Set the tone before the floodgates open. Do your clients know exactly how and when you want to receive their information? If not, that's yours first to fix. Number two, automate the repetitive stuff. Chasing signatures, sending reminders, and tracking documents shouldn't be manual. Use portals, e-signature tools, and automated emails to cut out the busy work. Every task you automate gives you back energy for the things only you can do. What's your repetitive task you can eliminate or automate before the season starts? Number three, lean on your team. If you're still the bottleneck, you'll break under the weight. Empower your staff to handle client questions, review documents, and manage the day-to-day. Your job is to focus on the work that only you can do, not everything. What responsibilities are you holding on to that you could delegate with the right trust and training? Number four, it's tempting. Protect your health like it's a deadline. It's tempting to treat sleep, meals, and exercise as optional during tax season. They're not. Your brain and body are your most valuable assets. Block time for rest and movement on your calendar like you would a client meeting. If you don't, your body will eventually force you to. What's one non-negotiable habit you can keep during busy season to protect your health? Number 5, know when to say no. Every year you'll have clients who dump their information on your desk at the last minute or push for more than you agreed to. If you keep saying yes, you'll keep suffering. Part of surviving tax season is pruning the weak workload, letting go of misfit clients or pushing late files past the deadline. Who drains you the most during tax season? Write it down. And what boundaries are you ready to enforce this year? Tax season will always be busy. There's no magic tool or shortcut that makes the deadlines disappear. But when you communicate clearly, lean on your team, automate the repetitive stuff, and protect your health, you turn the busiest time of your year into something manageable and even profitable. The real win isn't just making it to April. It's making it there with your energy, your relationships, and your reputation intact. That's what thriving during tax season looks like. If your practice can carry you through the busiest stretch of the year without breaking you down, that's the real test of sustainability. Because if you can thrive in April, you can thrive all year. So here's the challenge. Don't just survive this tax season. Design it, plan it, own it, and prove to yourself that success does not have to come at the cost of your health or your family or your sanity. Bottom line really is this: giving yourself permission to prioritize yourself, because you should put yourself first every single time. On the airplane, they tell you if the masks drop and there's cabin pressure lost, to put your mask on first before you help the minor, the child that you are sitting with. So you are allowed. I've got some additional videos in this playlist that are beyond the book, the next step, if you will, after the book. So I'd be sure to check those out. All right, hey, let's continue the journey. I appreciate you. Next chapter is 13, and it's client list refinement. And I'll tell you what, I put this together, at least for myself, in a way that I almost just made it automated. It was just, they don't match. Okay, they're not going to go through to the next level. But even though when I went through and I did the refinement, I did go through an exercise to figure out, did I even have time for the clients that I was expecting or wanting to keep? And the answer was no. And I had to go through the refinement again, which required me to tighten up on the definition. So I'm going to go through that with you. And with that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of this journey. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met anybody quite like you, and you've never met a CPA quite like me. You have a great one. See you at the next one.
The truth no one tells you. It's not a time problem. It's a boundary problem. We have a permission problem, a being everything to everyone problem. Reverse your thinking and get your life back.